Voters Not Politicians is fighting to end gerrymandering in Michigan. As a volunteer working for this cause, it's important to understand a few things. What gerrymandering means, how it works, and the impact it has on Michigan's elections. Our message is simple. We believe that voters should choose their politicians, not the other way around. This idea is central to a democracy and central to our mission. When it comes down to it, the real question here is, can a creepy wizard really eat democracy? There's one that's tried. It's called a gerrymander. But you can help save democracy. It all started with this guy, Elbridge Gerry, the governor of Massachusetts. Gerry was presented a bill to draw the districts of Massachusetts into some odd shapes. It was obvious that the shapes were drawn to the benefit of one political party over another. Gerry approved the maps, despite their obvious flaws. A Boston-based newspaper published this illustration, describing the district approved by Elbridge Gerry as looking like a salamander. The press soon began referring to partisan redistricting as gerrymandering. Get it? So gerrymandering has been around a long time, and it was a despised practice, even by the man it's named after. The difference is nowadays we have so much data and really powerful computer algorithms that it makes gerrymandering almost surgical in its precision. So wait, what is a district and what is a voting map? Based on Michigan's population of almost 10 million, we have 14 federal representatives, 110 state representatives, and 38 state senators, which means we have 14 congressional districts, 110 state house districts, and 38 state senate districts, all drawn differently by our state legislature, with some looking pretty weird. So why the oddly shaped districts? What's the point of that? In this example, we have 25 red and 24 blue. So how can district lines be drawn in such a way as to benefit one party over another? There's packing. In packing, you draw district lines in order to capture as many of your opponents as possible into as few districts as possible. So in this example, we have packed as many reds into a district as possible. The other side of packing is cracking, where you take groups of your opponent's voters and distribute them thinly across districts so that they are unable to gain a majority. In this example, by packing and cracking, you end up with 6 blue districts, 1 red district, even though the voters are evenly divided. It's not just blue who can do this. If red's in charge, they can pack blue and then crack the rest. So given the same distribution of voters, you can pack and crack to get the opposite pattern of 6 red, 1 blue. But it's not just about funny lines. We talk about funny lines of districts a lot, and we do that because the visual is so striking, and because when people see that neighborhoods are cut in half, they really get a sense of what gerrymandering is. But the data is so good nowadays, and the computer systems used to draw these lines so advanced that we could just as easily draw nice square boxes and still achieve gerrymandered districts. So, in this example, the district lines are compact and look sensible, but still leave us with 6 red and 1 blue, despite reds and blues being nearly even. Squares do not equal fair voting maps. Let's go back to the original schema for a moment. There is another way districts can be gerrymandered. It's called kidnapping. Imagine that there's an up-and-coming red candidate, somebody who knows how to persuade blues, maybe even swinging their votes. And you're drawing the lines for blue, and you think that this red candidate has a real chance of swinging this district from blue to red. How do you protect your turf? There's an easy answer. Redraw the district to exclude red's house and include a different red house, and throw the rising star into an all-red packed district so that his influence is limited. He's lost his home base. He's lost his influence. Now his influence was in the district mixed with red and blue, but he's no longer a part of that district, making him ineligible to represent it. And since he could have swung those 4 blue voters, that district is now safely blue. People do it to their own party members too, since the incumbent gets to draw the lines. If there is a rising star in the district, they will redraw the lines to move that rising star into another district. And to make matters even more interesting, now the new star may pose a threat to the longtime leader of the packed district. The resulting hijacking of the district forces two of your opponents to fight it out. So you, blue, in the end win because at least one strong opponent will be out of the race. But does this actually happen? You decide. This is Michigan's 14th congressional district, commonly referred to as the 8-Mile Mess. It goes from Auburn Hills to South Detroit, packing Democratic voters into one district. You'll see here that this is the 9th district, and here is the 11th. The 11th is safely Republican because the Democratic voters are all in the 14th and the 9th. And here we have State House Districts 13, connecting two areas by one road. And here we have State House District 14. And here we have State House District 32. And here we have State House District 81, which fits nicely around our cross. And here we have State House District 76, that looks more like an ink blot than a voting map. And here we have State Senate District 4. So yes, this lizard can eat democracy. Let's see how. Back to our original voter map, we have 25 red and 24 blue. With perfectly representative districts, with 24 blue and 25 red drawn into 7 districts, you would expect to see 4 red and 3 blue districts. But you can see here, when blue draws the lines, you end up with 6 blue and 1 red, meaning that 3 of those blue politicians were elected due to favorable maps rather than real choice from voters. Back to the original. Same situation, but with red drawing you end up with 6 red and 1 blue representative, meaning that 3 of those red politicians were elected due to favorable maps rather than real choice from voters. You may think, the current partisan balance is fine with me. Why should I care? Responsiveness is the issue. When districts are gerrymandered, it makes them safe for the incumbent, or at least the incumbent's party. When politicians think they are safe, they are less likely to listen to constituents or behave in a way that their constituents would approve of. A politician's main priority is to get reelected. When they get reelected, they get money and power. But they should get elected because we want them to serve us. But they aren't listening to us anymore. They already have our votes, so they're listening to people who give them more money and more power. But you can help save democracy. As a volunteer petition circulator, you will help collect signatures in support of a ballot initiative. This ballot initiative would allow Michigan voters to decide if they want a constitutional amendment to end gerrymandering. To make this initiative happen, we need 315,654 valid signatures collected from voters across the state. The process of collecting signatures has to be done precisely, and it's very important that all procedures are followed. Throughout the rest of the circulator training, you will learn more about how to circulate a petition in the most effective way possible. If you have questions about gerrymandering or about the ballot initiative, please feel free to email info@votersnotpoliticians.com or call 616-438-6287.